every time I play, but we're straight into the game. No draft threat necessary. Yeah. So you can see it here. Brimstone Breach on the side of Naos. It's pretty much the KO. That's something to watch out for. On the other hand, Glab Alpha, they're going to be running that Fade. They're going to be running that Brim Breach as well. And it's something we saw last time around when they played against Zol, I believe. So Glab Alpha, they say this works last time. Let's try to do it yet again.
They're going to continue that trend here on Fracture. No real change up here coming from Naos this time around in terms of the composition. They have everything going. He gets the opening pick here in the Fall X, and that should signal them to continue towards his B site, which is completely open. They leave the lurk there on the Mojer, though, towards A.
Well, obviously here for Naos, the big adjustment is it's no longer NDG playing that Breach. It's Senior Carl, everyone else on the roles that they were in last time. But Naos, they do get the plant down now towards that B site, and Papi Chulo finding Boogie, finding Ionix too. Step by step, they're just auditioning right in front of him. Dritch now trying to play counter, sure, and no one does find a tag now from spawn. But beyond that, now it's Esports. They have a handle of all the angles, and now they'll take the pistol now.
Papi Chulo just making sure their flanks are protected. Nothing to worry about, guys. I got this, he says. And
what's new?
Of course, ever reliable Daddy.
Daddy Chulo is ready for any younglings who are walking right in front of him. It just goes to show for Naos, there's always going to be that core. There's always going to be those strats, and it's tried and tested. Now, with a different part in this machine, does it work the same way? First time here on Fracture, that's a big check mark. Now they go with a better buy. Wit's actually going to go for the close knife, thinking if someone might come through the doorway there, and beyond that, Naos, look at the investment here, Black and Blue. 4 Bulldogs and a single Phantom already.
They really do not want to be outgunned in these type of anti-ecos of theirs, don't they? Especially in a map here like Fracture, where you want to secure every attacking round as you can in the opening half. Opening stack here towards that drop position, but once more, they love to send Mojer out on this lurk, and he's been doing really good adjusting into that Sentinel here in the second split of the year.
Yeah, he's realized that he can play in the back line and still be very effective. Allow Ja to be the front line itself. Now that 8-6 looking to happen, Mojer, though, in the meantime, doesn't notice that Boogie's a bit closer to him. After that point on, Glab able to pick up a gun. Naos, though, with the plant, it's 5v4. Small numbers advantage in favor for Glab. The struggle, though, with the guns themselves. And with the fault line now into play, seems like Glab looking for an opportunity. Papi Chulo, though, shuts the door here already. Spawn gonna be the advantage. Never mind, Wits finds 2 instead. And from the drop, it's Glab trying to at least find a way down, but Naos is just keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, gonna be a difficult drop here in the crossfire. Wits on the third, and Papi Chulo secures that second of his. Both of them gaining the kills they needed in the round, and you see there were Naos. They were down the man. They knew they had the gun advantage. They knew 2 were dropped, and so it had to be a lower player count towards that CT. They go aggressive instead, and they take that control they needed, especially when they're outmanned.
And that's really the Naos situational awareness that is very effective. Quick shout outs to Ling, who says we are both play-by-play casters. True, by the way, as categorized by award shows. Factually, even though we are a pair. And she's also asking when it will bind be here, when someone decides to actually play it instead of banning it. If you guys don't know Ling, she is also an incredible caster, content creator, and everything. She gets the biggest shout out of them all. All the titles, by the way. But we're back into the game. We're not talking about Oasis Ling anymore. We're talking about Glab with the rifle round.
No, we're not done. We're not done with Ling. We're not done.
Okay, so go ahead.
You know, when I started casting too, back then, in the years ago, one of the first people who asked me, hey, you want to cast, is Ling herself. Back then, people called her Lingy. And she was like, you want to cast? I'm like, yes, I think. I try.
Damn. So she's not just the hope of the audience, but also the hope for anyone looking for a job. But Ja, though, his job is already kaput as Boogie and Fall X do find the takedowns here. Main control for Glab Alpha. Great aggression, but the realization that the pinch was a possibility allows Glab Alpha to stabilize so well.
And the spike taken away from the control here. Naos leaves now Glab in such a great position to close this out cleanly here on their anti-bonus. Maybe Naos can get a few kills, but that's all you can really hope for here. Papi Chulo, we know him to be one of the most deadly players with a sheriff in his hand, but even this is a bit out of the question.
Yeah, it's very difficult right now, and Glab Alpha playing so disciplined instead. 4 of them stacked up towards that A site. They know the spike is on site itself, but Mojer finds the opportunity as Fall X Might be a little too eager. Time running out. This should guarantee the Game Lab Alpha win. Only question is how much damage can Naos still do. Boogie, though, mitigating those losses. 3 for him already. Make that a 4th for Boogie even. And Game Lab Alpha, they get on board this time.
Yeah, pretty nicely done here from the Game Lab squad. Not much lost in that round, and that's exactly what you kind of have to do. This Game Lab, they secure that drop position there isn't going to come idly by, and to have control of that A main throughout its entirety just makes that plant so much more difficult. You don't have that option of going for the post plant towards A main anymore, and Game Lab knew that. To hold on to that just pretty much helped them secure the round tenfold.
Yeah, they watched the tape, that's for sure, and they realized that if they hear the blast packs behind them, then that's Naos going for the main pinch itself. Here we go again, though. Suppression guaranteed. Folek's gonna get hit by the knife, and Naos this time is trying to go for a bit of false intel towards that A site. Seems like the Game Lab Alpha, a different plan, aggressing already towards hulls, and it's really the anchor here for Glab that's going to be important as the execute is looking to come their way.
Yeah, pressure here on the Onyx to perform, but Owen comes out of the smoke right in time, and the Onyx, perfect help on him as well.
Oh, spikes in front of them, and Mojo picks that up. That's a sign, a signal for Owen. If he peeks out the smoke, maybe he can find someone. But now, slowly trying to reel back their forces. Mojo, though, stay in cover, but he's the only one left as for Game Lab Alpha. Sweep away the rest of Naos tower, the only position he can play, and he's able to at least beat one in contact. Another challenger appears. This time it's Stritch, and Owen, of course, tags out with a backstab himself. Game Lab Alpha tie things up.
Individually here, kind of getting picked up a piece apart. They got those nano swarms, which helped kind of isolate the team from the rest of that push. You saw Ja already onto the site, and the rest of the team kind of pulled further back, and because of that, Naos kind of getting separated when they needed to be together the most. Without that, without that separation, they would have been able to trade, but they never came.
And is this going to be where we ask those questions for Naos? Unfamiliarity with this 5-man rotation, and perhaps maybe just fighting Oasis too much on this map allows a different contender to try a different kind of strategy against them. Game Lab Alpha, though, securing the north side of Fracture and making sure that everything is safe and sound. Now they know Naos is only going to come from one direction. Only question is, which site will it be? Owen, though, finds contact to begin with.
That's good info, though, that they've pushed up that far. That allows Naos to continue towards this A push now and get the plant off at the very least. Now, it's not going to secure the round, but it gets them a bit of economy more to hold on to. If they maybe are able to kind of respond to this flank push, never mind, it doesn't come through. They just opt to go for the safe option instead and go through CT.
Yeah, Naos is gonna have at least all the members available. But Game Lab Alpha, they're ready for the clear itself. The Prowler to lead, and Dritch will follow it up from drop itself. Paint just a little too late to slow down the peak itself. And a Nightfall even used by Game Lab Alpha. Efficiency looking prime and proper for Game Lab Alpha. And yet again, they're able to clean up house. Mojo, the only one left to fight back, gets one. But one more time, that's the only one he will take. Glab was... Oh no! This is a problem for Game Lab!
There's no time!
Because of the Nano Swarm! The Nano Swarm burns one down, and since no one else was nearby, Game Lab Alpha cede the round to Naos! And they lose even more members because of it!
Dax, I thought the round was done!
Same.
It was! But not in the way that we thought! Naos just somehow off of that Nano Swarm and even realized that they had one off of it, pulled the diffuser away, and yeah, just gave them much more needed time that they needed. They didn't even get the half defuse at that.
I mean, I noticed the Nano Swarm kill, but I was like, well, Game Lab has another guy there, right? I glimpsed at the minimap, and then they look at each other. Oh no.
Oh no.
Two people sprinting back, realizing the mistake, and this is the thing about Naos. Naos doesn't make those kind of mistakes. They're able to enforce those errors instead on other, I'd say, less experienced teams. And for Game Lab Alpha, that just rears its ugly head, and what could have been their lead, Naos will take back.
Not exactly a C9, but
You should run.
one I'm sure the
Hey,
fans would love
wrong
to call.
game!
I know.
Wrong game!
I know.
Okay.
You get the reference. Now, so here, they got that lockdown here for the site. The counter lockdown, though, not being placed by Onyx just yet. I think they're going to use it for the retake.
Yeah, there you have it now. Space created, and now will be able to make their way towards that B site. They're trying to anticipate any aggression from Game Lab Alpha with the Nano Swarms, but Glab actually just backing on away. Decide to go for the lockdown, as you mentioned, of their own. Orbital Strike, though, gonna be the answer. We hear the null command as well. And Ja finds First Blood versus Fallex. Ja even spilling another one. Send your Carl on the board, too. And now Esports just so prepared for this. Does Ja find contact right beside him? Yes, he does. Realizes Boogie was in breathing distance. And Rich, the only one left, trying to reach for any kind of semblance of a possibility. Wits, though, looking to be resurrected. Maybe timing here from Dritch. Gets one takedown, but Mojer is there for the trade. And now Naos get another one on the books.
Ja, like, barely saw the barrel stick out from behind him, like right by his ear, and still landed that flick through it. I think the smoke must have made it awkward there for Boogie on his position, but even better response here from Naos to come back from a round like that where they barely scrape by on the eco. And then, you know, they have that orbital strike to destroy the lockdown. Ja playing towards the generator, and GameLab, they're the ones who seemingly were sapped of steam.
Yeah, some good resilience from GameLab, though. No one being too aggressive. They're still trying to stick by their guns, but these last 2 rounds has to have hurt their mental so far. Now, their economy not going to be, well, the best here. Ionix in such a bad spot because of the pain shells, and Ja will flush him out and take him down. Owen, though, now playing danger close with that stinger. Naos, in the meantime, yet again finding targets left, right, and even by spawn. What can Boogie do? He has to dance away. And in this instance, Naos showing how overwhelming they can be again.
Just complete dominance here in the round so far. And you for GameLab, you know, after this next eco round, coming into round number 9 perhaps, I don't think it would be a bad decision to call a timeout. You do not want to let this lead kind of get out of hand, even though you are in the defensive side here in the first half. You still got that second on the attack to come back to, but you know that Naos are one of arguably the best team really here when it comes to playing on Fracture in the PH.
I would honestly say the best time to have called a timeout was this round, because you could see that they kind of force bought, and some of them went for the half buys on the other, and the rhyme and reason that we are trying to get from GameLab Alpha, it has fallen apart because of what Naos has enforced on this map. That round really where they got away with that spike detonating was such a big shockwave to GameLab Alpha. And perhaps now they're thinking, if we can play a bit more aggressive, if we can find these picks earlier, that won't happen again. And that's where it falls into the hands of Naos Esports. That's a way they want their opponents to play.
You know, certainly those type of rounds, that can affect a team, especially a younger one here like GameLab. Now, it doesn't have to be a tilt, but it can certainly be something that looms in the back of your mind every now and then during a column. And just the emotional shift it can do to a team can have lasting effects throughout the half or throughout even the game. They have a single Vandal in this round to apply, and it's all the way towards the other side. As the B site is what Naos are taking.
Yeah, Boogie looking to be the hero this time around for GameLab Alpha. Yet again, though, rhyme and reason so important now for GameLab, but Naos in the meantime having their own rhythm here. And 2 beats on that drum to fall down on the GameLab Alpha side. Naos already effectively have this B site under their control. GameLab is just implying a bit more presence from spawn, but beyond that, this is still just Naos holding things down, finding the targets just like that, and case in point, GLab is completely suppressed here.
Yeah, it's a difficult position for GameLab to be in at the moment. Wits betrayed here on the Fall X. They have to know that Boogie's somewhere here. I think he's shot out, so they're aware. Fault line comes, and Senior Carl swings off of it too. They connect, and Naos are winning, arguably a lot more, I guess, cleanly than we would have expected.
Absolutely. From the pace this was going at the beginning for GameLab Alpha, there was a lot more hope. There was a lot more of a precedent in terms of the setup, and now Naos has understood how they can actually maneuver throughout the map, where they can worm their way in, and then from that point on, just take some good angles. And that's the thing about Naos, when they play Fracture, they try to utilize... Okay, fine. Okay, no, they're not gonna do it, man. Don't worry about it. Just to wrap up my point, look at Naos again and how they're just circumventing the map. Always ready to go for the rotation. Nice shot though by Ionix. That's a big blow to Naos this time around. And even Cinder Car will fall, so the gamble from GameLab pays off so far. And they're swarming around the spike here.
Okay, don't call a timeout. Good job here, Glab. Sorry to cut you off, buddy.
No,
But
it's okay.
that's a good, at least they tried something different, and that's what they needed to do, right? Go for that pinch, rather, towards that spawn side, towards the attacking spawn. And with that, it gives them a lot more to do here.
Yeah, they force the aggress and they force the clash. Perfect timing here for Game Lab Alpha. Folix and the Onyx yet again stepping up, but it's all Ja now in the 1v3. Find the isolation, he can do this, but Onyx will shut that down. Game Lab Alpha, no times out talents needed. They will get the round here.
Rounds finally gotten here, gained by Game Lab. And off of that, that was a really great push to get them with the off time. And I see why you don't call the timeout now. My bad. I realize that, you know, in hindsight, good job.
They're just trying to prove you wrong.
They really were. But
Yeah.
at least, you know, if you're not going to call time out there, do something different, and that's what they did. They just completely shook Naos. So you can see how they weren't prepared. Naos were trying to play that slow default, but as a pinch came towards that spawn, they're going to try the same thing here towards the bridge instead on the arcade side. Ja making that contact, but he finds the kills, and that just dismantles his push.
I mean, technically, Game Lab Alpha did try to do this a while ago, but no one was home on the north side. And Naos wasn't ready for it because they didn't realize what happened, per se. This time around, well, they understand what's going on. They understand what's coming their way. And Ja able to hold things down. But the showstoppers do clash! And Ja flies even higher to soar into greater heights. A 3K from Ja! Make that a quad! The ace denied by Dritch! But Game Lab Alpha, they're struggling here versus the forces of Naos. Mojer and Wits holding things down together. And the double peak is enough to get the round. What a showing, though, from Ja.
My goodness here. Ja just flying above any sort of hazard, any sort of danger. Well, their tagline is it fly high? Is it fly high or is it I forget which one.
One is Talon, one is
exactly.
Naos.
There's two teams with a pretty similar tagline, but they're certainly reaching different heights.
Well, Fracture is their temple, buddy, and well, the head priest that is Ja ready yet again for the rites of passage towards the site. Here we go again, Game Lab Alpha stuck on an eco, shaken and stirred by Naos. The peak comes, but Senior Carl expects it immediately, and well, for the lack of the better term, I think Naos, they're very good at the anti-asim, no? They're very good at finding these kind of angles and understanding when the aggress will come and when to shut it down.
Anti-asim? More like the...
Like,
how do you English that? Anti-sour?
exactly. Anti-sour play?
Yeah, it doesn't really translate that well. But Wits, all you have to be concerned about is that it's kind of basically, you know, stifling these kind of off-angle, these type of off-tempo, these type of rat plays that you'd see a lot of teams try and apply against, you know, a team like Naos, but they're good at shutting that down, making sure that they don't really give up, I guess, windows of opportunity too easily.
Yeah, they're kind of like the rat exterminators. They're very good at finding those timings. I'm really trying to find the better translation for it. Poison pill. I think it's like, that's the closest one. If you play a poison pill play, right, you're just trying to take people down with you.
I guess.
I guess, but honestly, Filipino just has so many of those terms that don't correlate directly in English.
I blame English instead.
I do blame this language. But we are the English casters. This is the English broadcast, and we are back now to try and end the first half. Can Game Lab Alpha, though, get on the board yet again? Or will Naos make it 9-3? 4 ultimates available, though, for Game Lab Alpha. The B site, though, looking to be pretty tasty for Naos.
Impress X here and potentially get all the control that they want and then some, potentially for that retake. B site here trying to be pushed in by Naos. And we've been seeing this a lot from them, where they kind of treat that arcade as a B main. That's a tendency we have seen internationally moving on forward. And they kind of forgo some of that B main control every now and then. But this time around, they go for a different option. They go through the underpass, wanting to, I guess, not replicate themselves too much so they don't become easily readable.
Yeah, they're also making sure that the south side a bit more clear. This time around, though, we go for the null command and shot through the smoke even. Just expects that Aeonix is nearby. The Odin, though, here from Owen, bringing it out to try to spray things down, but the cross cannot find any of those takedowns whatsoever. Spike now planted. Folix trying to get in position. Nightfall used here by Boogie as well, in Game Lab Alpha desperate to get back towards the site, but the Rolling Thunder is the answer here from Naos. Naos just getting in the way again and again. John the corner, and Mojo playing protection. Fallix eventually does get the takedown. The lockdown, though, is pressure. The orbital strike there for the answer, but Game Lab Alpha, they're losing their members left, right, and center, and it's Rich all alone yet again. 1v3, the lockdown buying space and time, and really for Game Lab Alpha, I don't think there's any way to make it back. The fault line in the way. Now it's just keeping their opponents at bay.
Such a great stagger here of utility and ultimates from Naos. That's 4 ults here coming from Game Lab compared to the 2 of Naos had in that lockdown and in that Rolling Thunder. But you see how they use that Rolling Thunder after a bunch of util was thrown in by Game Lab, and I think that was their big crucial thing. They threw in the Nightfall, and then immediately after they threw in that Rolling Thunder as well. And those are both nullified in an instant by the counter Rolling Thunder here of Senior Carl and Naos. And then they had a lockdown to further secure the round. And off of that, just the shutdown here of the initial retake coming from Naos is so beautiful to see. That's where you see that experience just really stomp Game Lab in the end.
And you could see that the tunnel play was just to allow Arcade to be, I'd say, less looked after, right? Because they had one effectively now on that lurk there from Arcade. They put that pressure from main instead. They caused all that chaos, especially with that first frag from Ja. Positioning it again from Naos as effective as per usual. This is a team looking to just go into even higher and higher heights in the PH scene. Now they start on their defense. Game Lab Alpha trying to recompense, and the pistol, it will head for that A site here.
9-3. You know, superstitions are something of the past, but Naos here, pretty sure they've feeling pretty confident in this. Oh, look at Fallix just hopping his way into that CT. Senior Carl gets a kill on him though from that drop, and there's no way they can fight against this.
These guys are the turrets of Naos. They're just so prepared in the best angles ever. And the Boombot gets a spot. Aeonix, a nice kill short on the Senior Carl. But it's only a highlights in, well, a sea of kills for Naos instead. 10-3, and this defense looking even better than the attacking side just from one round.
I mean, you go against Naos on Fracture. The map that, you know, starting off, especially last stage, I don't think anybody would have called this to be their best map, but it kind of turned out to be in the long run.
I think my Naos power rank...
Yeah,
no. I think my Naos power rankings is Icebox 1, and then Pearl 2, and then Fracture 3. But maybe it's a little... Yeah, because Fracture is always contested by Oasis. And yes, Naos has found the answer against Oasis. It's still... Well, it's still, right. You know, it's still contended. Yeah, I think they're just really good maps. And now since Icebox is gone, you're technically correct because they're not. It's now their second best map.
Oh yeah, you were right. Yeah. Haha, I was right in the end. It's all that matters to me. They're going to Haven next, and that has been the statistical big question mark for this team.
Well, for both of them. Game Lab Alpha, in terms of the losses...
No, there's no questions about Game Lab's Haven. That's a thing. It's all... You're just sure it's kind of rough.
I mean, they're happy to play it. That's the thing. So they have an answer. They have that confidence. It just seems like the other teams are better at Haven. But Naos, you mentioned it. It's always been their ban. Ever since they lost to Oasis back then, and they rarely let it pass until now and against Action PH last time around. Anyway, though, enough speeches. Game Lab Alpha fighting here by Arcade, but Naos has already intercepted. And as per usual, with the gun advantage, Naos cleanly mows them down. Owen, though, puts up a fight towards that A site. Unfortunate for him, the spike is all the way across the map.
He does good damage, and Mojo and Witsy are a single shot to the body from being taken down. He's trying to hide that Bulldog.
Oh, come on.
You can do it.
Can we just have this cam? Please don't leave this cam.
Don't leave
You can do this. This is the real game.
Yeah! They can still get it.
Another.
They can still jump up if they know where it is.
If they know to look up, that's the thing.
He's gonna save this.
10 seconds left.
He's gonna go for it.
I mean, he's gonna get more money this way.
He should go for it, yeah.
He's making a lot of noise. He's like, kill me, someone take me. And now is just gonna let this go.
Yeah, they know it's better to just leave him alive.
Well, I do feel like it's because of their HP. But you see everyone teleport back in position?
Yeah, that happens.
It's like, what? Okay. But yeah, now they want to keep 3 guns at least. They didn't want to risk dying anymore to the hand of Game Lab Alpha. And here in their bonus, at least they have a bit of firepower. But Game Lab Alpha, it's now or never.
They know death is a mercy, Dex. They let them suffer through life. That's what it really is. A resident cynic. Naos here, though. nothing to be cynical about for Game Lab. They're going to need all the hope that they can in this case. They have the same exact push here that the Naos were applying with. You have that Killjoy coming on the flank, but Alarmbot will keep him busy. Fallex, it's a good catch here in the Wits.
Yeah, there's that firepower for Fallex, but as soon as he runs into the sidelines of Mojer, he's immediately mowed down there by Naos. The only problem now for Game Lab is they had that first pick, but it doesn't actually lead into the opening. Naos is just so fortified on the opposite end.
Yeah, they just rotate immediately, and that's the thing about Fracture. You have a quick rotate here for the defensive side. And so if you can have your wits about you, no pun intended as they lost their wits, you can really make sure you get back on time and still be present on both sides.
I mean, hug the circumference, right? It's a perfect circle here on Fracture, but then again, Aeonix and Mojer, 3 blows. Boogie, though, keeps an eye out, and Rich is there to help out, too. Game Lab Alpha, they have the firepower, and now that they have the numbers, Senor Carl, wrong arm is out. Try to fight with a Sheriff, why don't you? Stuck in the corner here for Game Lab Alpha. They're a bit suppressed so far, but Owen has a better plan. The push coming in from Senor Carl. They want to try and make the pinch happen, and Boogie will find the timing on Senor Carl himself instead. So 4-11, seems like Game Lab is still alive here.
Very dangerous, though. He got the tag through that wall, and it would have been enough to take both of them down if he landed another shot, potentially, but still the bonus there from Naos. Okay damage at best. I guess you could say 2 kills. For some armor buying up here, but you can see that even on these kind of bonus rounds of theirs, they're really still in control, and it never seems like anything's too dire, even if they lose a round like that. But this is where the swing has to happen for Game Lab. You can't give up match point with a deficit like this.
Yeah, the tactics here from now are seemingly more sound. Game Lab Alpha, they always have that firepower, though, with the talent that they have, and it's something they've relied on to bail themselves out of these pinches. We begin, though, now for Hall's control, as Fallex wants to lead the charge yet again. But Wits is suppressed. It's such a big bother. It slows down Game Lab Alpha's pace yet again.
What was that ping? Almost like there was a hawk or something. Might have not just coming true at the right time. Senor Carl, he's just a wall that they can't break through.
Yes, stunning, stupefying event. Senor Carl silences the push, and here we go yet again. The last word said by Senor Carl in the quad. 12-4, this is match point for Naos.
As I said, you give a match point in this case. Statistically, you're pretty much assured to be done. Now, I don't want to call it before it ends. And I want to see more from Game Lab because, honestly, from all the teams we had during Stage 1, I was the most impressed by Game Lab by far compared to any other team, even versus a team like Abaddon Abyss who did well. It was Game Lab to go all the way to that top 3, especially for them to be their first time, and you really want to see that development more. It's just unfortunate in this case that one of the final games they have to play in the season is against Naos.
Well, it does feel like after what we saw from Oasis and now we're seeing from Naos, things are still under construction. That next leap forward for Game Lab Alpha is not just making to that top 3 anymore, but replicating and improving on what they did in that lower bracket finals last time around and contending with the heavyweights that we have. And we know the talent is there, but really the tactics and the calls from Naos has just been a bit more sound so far. Case in point though, Fallex, a sharpshooter himself, gets that first takedown.
Great shot, and that's what Game Lab are always so formidable with, right? The amount of firepower that they can bring to the table when it comes down to it. Senor Carl had a good position there to actually catch maybe 3, potentially even 4, all of them with that fault line, but takes a smarter option, pulls back instead. The lurk here towards B is going to confirm that Game Lab, they want to continue that way. It's only going to be Mojer to make this contact. Now, he doesn't have his alarm bot towards that arcade, no turret either, and they don't really have much presence that way, so they're kind of blind here.
Yeah, Orbital Strike though, thrown towards tower, and they're trying to see if anyone would evacuate towards Arcade. Mojer though, burning down Fallex to begin with. Another instance where Fallex falls so early on. Game Lab though, with the plant, Rolling Thunder. The answer from Senor Carl, and look at the backstab here from Naos. They catch Game Lab off guard until Aeonix is there to pick up the pieces. 2 takedowns for the Killjoy. Owen also on the board, and Game Lab Alpha shoot themselves out of a bad situation. It's 5-12 to stay alive.
Yeah, great recovery here coming from Game Lab in the round. To get that pick there, to drop down Jop, just allow them to have that map control that they need, to have them, have a man count above Naos, and we see that a while ago, especially, right, when they went towards B, and went to A, and they did the same opposite to that here. It was Ja to be one of those players to be one of the first to rotate in, as a duelist typically would. And because they took down Ja, there's just no one there to immediately back up Mojer on the site.
And now it's esports. How will they try to finish things off? Well, Game Up Alpha,
Like
they
that.
aggress, but Ja is just so ready to. Papi Chulo on the board. Naos giving Game Lab Alpha a taste of their own medicine. And suddenly, a wild job here is to take you down. Naos so prepared yet again. They have a good handle already on the north side of the map. They have the spike. They have the positions. And well, it should just be the kills coming their way too. Aeonix, the only one left to fight back. Wits will silence that immediately. 13-5. Naos finish the job off on Fracture to begin this series.
Incredible end here coming from Naos in the performance. And we kind of wondered, you know, how will Senior Carl slot into this team? Now, maybe a few rough rounds in the earlier part of it, but after that kind of seemingly giveaway win that we saw in, what was it, round 5, where they won against that, you know, the time running out, everything just continued to waterfall against Game Lab.
Yeah, it just feels like one major mistake there from Game Up Alpha was a slippery slope that led to an avalanche of problems. Now, so esports, cool, calm, collected at the top of the mountain. And from what we just saw, it was the standard fanfare there from Naos, adjusted bit by bit after they were getting read by Game Lab Alpha. And case in point, Ja there, an absolute MVP. We saw how he finished the job off basically in that last round, how he would be able to contest the aggression there from Game Lab Alpha. And really, for Naos esports, we see so many times, if they get that plant down, it's already secure. What a commanding way to effectively win out these kind of games here, or these rounds rather, from Naos esports, because it's not just mastery of the map, but it's just understanding of where to position at the right moments and what kind of information they can give to their opponent.
Certainly not much that they're giving up in this case, though, because Naos, they're really quick on the rotate, but they're really quick as well to try and go for a different option, if especially on the attacking side, if their initial idea doesn't work on out. And when the push does come from Game Lab, they're always just so much more prepared. You can see Senior Carl here always ready with a flash or with a fault line for the most part, just to help on out. And they have these set plays that they've surprisingly been able to slot Senior Carl in really well, where you see Ja push out early maybe in the round, and that followed up there with a breach utility, and then more of the same from the, the rest of the team, like with Papi Chulo and Mojer both kind of being able to swing off of each other many times on over as that backline, and it gives you just such reliability in every end, both on the front and the back. Then you got Wits here from Naos delivering the win with Grab Unlimited. His calls, I could say, were on point.
Yeah, he was also delivering some incredible suppresses too, and really for Naos esports, it was just the usual fanfare that we see from them. This is the #1 seed for good reason, how effective they have been. And I'm really wondering right now, what else can Game Up Alpha do right in this kind of situations? They're so good at finding these picks. They're really good at having these contact situations. But how do they even get there in the first place? That's the problem so far. Because if you've noticed, right, especially when they were on the attacking side, Folex, he'd find a pick or he'd make that space. But as soon as that happens, Naos is in position to shut him down and close the door on Game Lab Alpha before anything even begins on the site itself. But guys, we're gonna be ending Fracture off on a high note with a bit of a break, and when we return, it will be that map #2 in Dax Black and Blue. We'll be back in just a bit. We'll see you guys for more of VCTPH very soon. I mean, come on, what's this from Team Secret? What is the map of Team Secret, right? It's Haven, so it's no surprise that he's...
Bind to me, honestly.
Well, Bind is back. Bind is back now. You know, we'll find out. But then again, there's these bits and pieces, right, from Naos that can be good on this map. Will we see the whole unit be effective on this map? I think that's the question that they're trying to answer in this map pick. But here we go again, guys. Round #2 in this series. Naos on the defense. Game Up Alpha swiftly on the attacking side. They go for that B site. They fake it out, though. They don't actually commit onto it. Dart comes towards the garage, but now so stable, still on that C-side. Ja priming the dash even. Folex will find the duel, but Folex and Owen Cutie with the takedowns that they need, and it's Game Lab taking that C-side for themselves. The lurk from Aeonix spotted out, but he still gets another takedown before he falls.
The wide swing there coming from Folex, just completely throwing off Ja in his angle. Not expecting it to be that wide. So it's going to be difficult to try and go up against this Wits. I mean, they're paying the position there towards CT where Folex might be, so You can see that they have some notion of it, but they're just not entirely sure. Oh, I think he might spot his toe, and that he does!
Finds a pixel, and that's enough to get the takedown. Paranoia thrown on out, but the fault line gets connection onto it himself. Papichulo fights back. 1v1 now. Owen backing on away. Do they realize that Papichulo is a single bullet pump demise? A smoke not to try and play cover. Taps it out for the fake, but Owen finds him immediately, and GameLab takes the round.
Yeah, they're just way too low HP there, so GameLab, they get the round they needed. Came a bit close there in the end, but it's a good sign for them to go that confident here in towards this, especially in Fallex winning that fight. He absolutely needed to be able to make that push work on out. If they were even kind of stalled for a few more seconds there, the defensive rotation would have been a problem in and of itself for GameLab. So Naos, they lose the round, but they're not, I think, too desperate just yet.
Yeah, Naos, they weren't faked out by that B take itself. They anticipated the garage push, but they were still caught out by the lurk there towards that C site. A few things to really work on here for Naos. We're already seeing it immediately. It's something that isn't as familiar to them compared to the other teams in the PH scene. Jado priming the dash, wanting to force that contact towards Owen. The Bulldog, though, bites back even harder. Ja falls, maybe a trade there courtesy of Mojer. Not gonna happen, as GameLab is on the hunt and is rushing towards that C site.
Well, okay, nice overrun here coming from Naos! A double with a classic from Senior Carl, okay. But, I mean, low HP, still don't have the guns. GameLab here, I think they're staying pretty tight. Now, if they get another pick that goes untraded, then that could be dangerous.
Yeah, well, the rotation there from Naos moving towards the CT side instead means no guns can be picked up. GameLab eventually, they decide to commit towards that C side, but there you have it. Papichulo with the takedown. Mojer too! And the pistols! Unbelievable already here from Naos! What's happening is Naos Esports is trying to take command of this round. Dritch the only one left in a 1v3 slate. Bulldogs picked up and he finds the angle towards Senior Carl. He was low HP though. Dritch with another one. Maybe one more fight, maybe one more kill, but Mojer will deny it from him. And Naos just steals it away from GameLab Alpha.
You saw what Dritch tried to do there in the end. Now, he got the 2 picks, okay, but he tried to get him with, like, the pop and swing, where you just wide swing for days and don't shoot up until you get to the very end to maybe throw off the aim there of Mojer, but Mojer's just way too quick in that situation. They almost line on up, and look at how those kills came. There weren't, like, necessarily bait and switches or, you know, off right clicks. 2 of those kills just came up from a straight up classic 1v1 duel against a free gun. What happens?
Well,
that happens.
Infinite value for Senior Carl. What a pickup and what a showing so far. And really for Naos, they understand what GameLab is thinking in those situations. Maybe they're gonna try to trade for those guns. They back on the way, and it's GameLab's rotation that is stifled instead. Now, speaking of stifled things, economy, not the best here for Glab. They have 4 sheriffs, a classic in the hands of Fallex, and they're slowly creeping their way towards that A execute.
Well, all they got is a bunch of sheriffs here. Paranoia, that connects perfectly. That catches Papichulo out, but Senior Carl is there at the ready, and by the time it expires, Papichulo is ready as well. Boogie on the double, on the triple with him!
Oh, Boogie, baby, where'd that come from? Well, he still puts up a fight, able to pick up a rifle too. Phantom in hand right now. A possible 1v2 scenario if Naos is caught off guard by Boogie's position. He's putting up the spike though. Actually gonna go for the commit itself. Naos creeping their way towards Link, and Mojer swings and so close from Boogie. Could have saved the day there for GameLab Alpha, but Ja just stays stable instead. Naos will get the round here.
He flicked back too immediately. If he literally just held mouse 1, a lucky stray bullet there could have killed Ja, and that would have been the ace clutch of a lifetime. But how close it came! And Boogie, man, this is what I'm talking about here, and as I've been saying about GameLab, I think like 2 stages for now, they just have incredible firepower in some of their players, especially, you know, that front line in Fallex and Boogie, who just out of nowhere can give you these type of rounds where, like, bro, it's a 4v1. What are you doing? Just die. But he doesn't. He doesn't go down, not without an incredible fight.
Good aim, yes. That was that summarized. And truth be told, GameLab Alpha, we see it again and again. They're put in an awkward scenario. They're able to find incredible frags from it. Now, because of the damage done, they do effectively reset the economy of Naos. Operator, though, in the hands of Ja. And Wits instead realizing that this is a B take. Good call from Game of Alpha to cut through the middle. And Owen even finds a takedown. Wits, though, slowly trying to play towards the back of sight. He hasn't been spotted as of yet. Not this Fury forces Dritch out. Now he realizes that Wits is nearby. Boogie though with a takedown yet again. Papi Chulo with a flag to full legs. Even better on the shot. And whatever now tries to throw at Game of Alpha. Game of Alpha responds with bullets. Senior Carl in a 1v5 slate. Isolates and finds Fall X to begin with. Maybe another one here versus Dritch. Yes, he does. Senior Carl slowly but surely making his way towards the site. The shock dart though doesn't get the connection. And here for Glab, they're just backing on away, waiting for the flag of Owen to just get that final kill. Owen's creeping. Owen's got the angle. Are you going to go for the knife? Are you serious?
He is.
Oh, he is. Oh. The backstab to end all backstabs. And Game of Alpha will get the round there.
Painful for Bagstab himself, probably to watch. That's his own team. But
shoutouts, manager.
Shoutouts to the manager, yes. But, man, Game Lab, they're one of the best team. Really, argue one of the best at shooting themselves out of a bad situation like that. They just gotta minimize how many bad situations they find themselves in, but I'm surprised there. Like, you know, Dritch was able to still stay alive, even with that Hunter's Fury raining down upon him, with Wits trying to creep up on him. He gets away from the last shot, and Game Lab just tied the game out of nowhere.
Yeah, Game of Alpha still there to fight. Ja, though, dashing in, bringing the aggression. They got the intel, but they couldn't get the kill. Boogie still, after that Sheriff round, he's finding these incredible shots. And the rest of Game of Alpha will follow suit. Aeonix on the board. Senior Carl shutting down the blade, sure. But now he's stuck here by A-Long. Game of Alpha watching for him. Paranoia gets the connection. Desperation with a shock dart. They want to get the knife. They get the nanoswarm instead. But Senior Carl still gets the takedown. The round's not over, Game of Alpha. Mojer's in position to fight on back. He's trying to find the time. Find the headshot! Maybe even a second, but no! Shut down by Owen Cutesy. Game Lab Alpha take the lead.
Could have been it, and Game Lab Alpha here. Shutting down, you can see no holds barred. Just wanna run down Senior Carl there towards that long position. Now, good initial idea here coming from Naos. Maybe if they delayed a second or two longer, the fault line would have connected a bit more than they wanted to. But just the alarm bot there by Onyx as well. Recognition of that potential. It catches out Ja, and they're able to spam through and find a free kill off of it.
I'm worried, though, a little bit for Game Lab Alpha. You could see that round very raw on the emotions. They're feeling the heat, their play momentum, but going for the knife in that situation, a little too early. Call me a spoil sport, but, you know, the round wasn't over yet, so Game Lab Alpha, they're going to need to be a bit more careful moving forward. They have the lead now. They have the guns to fight back, but now it's in position towards heaven. The Rolling Thunder, even the answer, but look who's appeared. It will be Ja fighting on site. Ja just runs them all over. 3 down, make that 4. Almost got the ace. Owen shuts it down, but Naos, they had the eye in the sky, and they had all the intel and the position in the world to just fight back against Game Lab.
My goodness. Who's this player? Who the hell is this Ja?
You know this guy.
What are you doing? What do you do? Why your monitor so close to the screen, huh?
Why your face so close to the monitor?
Why your face so close to the monitor? Why you get this kill?
Look at that. That's how he plays. That's how close he plays. In real life.
And they line up too. Man. I mean, it was the perfect time for Wits to throw that. No, I think he knew that Owen Cutie was in the smoke. He probably heard the TP up top to heaven, and then he was like, well, I gotta throw it now, otherwise I'm dead. And he still dies, but it bought Ja the space that he needed to exact his revenge.
And this is what I'm talking about, Game of Alpha. They can't get caught up with the momentum because now they're honestly just that experienced team with more of that discipline who can temper those emotions. Glab, they do still have the firepower. They have the guns, and they bring out the Odin yet again. Interesting call for the past 2 maps. Let's see what that can do as it spams through the window, through the garage. A window found out by Papi Chulo to begin with, and now stabilizing slowly on those initial duels.
Phantom.
Better gun?
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, Phantom. Okay. Continue on.
Well, we continue now as Game of Alpha. I'll take your... Yeah, of course. You pass it back to me. Sure, why not? Game Lab's going for that C site anyway. Fallex spotting out the turret to begin with. That backside control is still something to watch out for here for Naos. A dash on in, logs for Mojer. Boogie knows it, and they double up on him. Timing could have been good for Papi Chulo, but Boogie and Rich to fight back even better. 4v2 now. Naos, they're stuck here by Link.
Odin, big.
Okay, I'll continue
Retake
from
comes
that. Carl and Wits, they get the takedown, sure, but Aeonix and Boogie will contribute a bit more compared to my partner there in that round. Two still survive from Game Lab Alpha as they take the lead back.
Hey, that was your Sulit round, don't worry.
No.
3 to 4. Game Lab. See, look, it was a body shot all the way. So definitely Phantom Diff. It's Senior Carl here. Maybe gets that kill, but ultimately enough, Game Lab, that kind of garage push that they've had towards that C site when they just suddenly pivot, it's been pretty effective here so far on the attacking side. That's 2 rounds now they've won that exact way here against Naos.
Yeah, and you can really see for Naos that this map is still a struggle. Let's be real, Game Lab Alpha had incredible duels, and from that space, you can see that Naos on paper, they have the right angles, but the timings are a bit off. The chances and the spaces themselves taken instead by Game Lab Alpha, and Mojo trying to get in position towards Logs, finds the kill onto 2 with the Spectre. Close quarters, happy to play that. Papi Chulo behind the platform even. But this has been a problem for Game Lab, getting stalled on that initial push, losing Fallex too early on without the space that they need to create. Papi Chulo in position, Mojer already gets a 3K for himself. Aeonix in the corner, flushed out by Papi Chulo, and it's a tie ball game, a tied scoreline yet again.
A great response here from Naos, and Mojer able to rat himself into those positions. The second kill is what surprised me, even though he kind of got a bit of an angle right before he did get blinded there. Low HP as well, so single bullet is all he needed, and the Spectre just spits out at such a rapid rate to fire ammunition. As soon as you get tagged, you're taken down. Game Lab though, eco here for them, build more economy into this, and they got, you know, a lot of ultimates for the next round coming up.
Yeah, you must construct additional ults here. Perhaps Fallex and get an orb and a kill, and give him the Blade Storm to bring in the firepower this time. But since Naos, they have the advantage, they're willing to play a bit more confident towards that A-long angle. They also put up the Killjoy setup here towards that B site, knowing the fact that Game Lab loves to come in and out of that B site if ever.
This B site, it's only going to be Mojer to fend him off. They do have a Nano Swarm toward that A-Link side, but it's a C-Link that Game Lab want to take here. Naos happy to give it up. They know they don't have the man count. And luckily, thank God, they're removing that yellow border when the lockdown is placed.
Yeah, it's gonna be gone. I think it's gone already. I haven't updated my Valorant yet. But the Owl Drone looking on around, searching for a target. Someone close by now. His name is Aeonix, and he wants to duel immediately from window. The flick away from Jado leads to his own demise. Game Lab get 2 for the troubles. Naos fights back to get 2 of their own. 3v3 now. Boogie the shots again and again. Boogie Wonderland every single time he holds that sheriff in his hands. And Papi Chulo's the only one left standing for Naos. It's 1v3. Firepower in the hands of OQT, and Boogie just does not disappoint. A 3K with a thrifty. It's G-Lab keeping this lead intact.
Let's groove tonight. Game Lab here and Boogie. 13 kills as a Sova. Sometimes you wonder, why isn't this man on the duelist as he usually typically was during stage number 1? And DNC can perform even being on that back line with a sheriff in his hands. He's been very formidable. That's the third 3K second 3K he's had here with a sheriff on an eco.
Oh, Boogie, he just does not disappoint. I always honestly say my hymns and praises for this guy. Low key,
yeah,
I'd say the best player that they have on Game Lab Alpha, and now high key, proving it again and again with stellar shooting like that. Here we go though. Now Naos is on the eco, and by the way this game is going, I wouldn't be surprised to see thrifty after thrifty from both sides here.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the map veto, and I think this is really the one where Game Lab, they can start to upset Naos in this series through this map number 2. And as you said a while ago, you can really see that there still are some struggles for Naos, especially in the defensive side here when it comes on Haven. Now, I don't know if that will continue in the second half once Naos are on the attacking side. I'd wager maybe perhaps not, but Game Lab, they're in a good role right now. And if they can, you know, not let this eco once more be converted by Naos, then they're on pace to get a pretty good half.
Yeah, Naos picking up this map too, knowing the stats of Game Lab Alpha. But to quote another team, Well, the magic is preferred and being found by Glab Alpha instead. Spike's not planted on that B side. Dritch with the find on Jaw to begin with. And the swing comes from Papi Chulo to get that takedown. But Boogie and Dritch, look at them go. Play by window. 0-2 watching the doorway. It's 4v2 now as Senior Carl tries to play the front line.
Whoa.
The Bulldog finds 2 for his troubles. Well done even through the wall to get into cover. But the flashpoint's there. Putting up the suppressing fire. Dritch trying to mow them down. A 3k from Senior Carl still doable by him. But Ionix, he's ready now with full armor and full receipts on the angle. Gets the ping, goes for the jump peak. Senior Carl gets halfway done, and Senior Carl does it anyway! Goes for the full send, and we'll take it all for Naos Esports. We are tied up yet again.
No way, Senior Carl. He just brings it back. The pirate that he is, looting the booty of a Game Lab there.
Bro, I called it! I called it. We get thrifty for thrifty.
Well,
it's good.
You got a premonition, Dax, and it's been Sova after Sova getting these thrifty clutches out.
Bro, they are the hunters. And look, this is a great showing for Game Lab Alpha.
Yeah,
And this is a great showing from Naos.
yeah.
I do feel like the way this game is going, this is going back to the ban list of Naos. Not gonna lie, but we're not done with this match. Game Lab Alpha, they have at least a few more rounds to go on their attacking side, where we always say that it's more preferred by these teams. Ja don't knows Fall X is there, and Ja will find them immediately. Rolling Thunder, the answer though, to flush them out from C-Link. We hear the Hunter's Fury as well, and Senior Carl already mowing down and just evaporating Boogie there. So it's 5v3, and the usual frontline from Game Lab Alpha gone in a blink of an eye.
And you see why they feel free to use a Hunter's Fury there, because they know that the lockdown, that's not going to come anytime soon, as Game Lab used their lockdown in the previous round. No, the timing here, it's going to come off the swing, but Papi Chulo always so at the ready, so reliable here for the rest of Naos to capitalize off of, at least rely on. And when he gets himself within the sight, Wits on the swing, he helped Papi Chulo out, and that's the beauty of this Naos team. Everybody at the ready to help the rest of the team out when it comes to a pinch.
Yeah, the only hiccup there, what we saw Papi Chulo going for the paranoia, no one watching towards long, and well, that was the only demise they had in that round. But this is the stations that you expect from Naos. This is the kind of teamwork that you expect from them in the first place. And most of that round, very synchronized. They even stacked up like a Tiki Tower to bring the lead back towards them. Operator, though, in the hands of Ja. One last chance, Game Lab Alpha. Tie it up yet again, can you?
I'm not sure if you were able to watch the Naos Insider video that they put out, but halt on that, Ja. He's got Op in his hands. He's the most terrifying, arguably. There it is. The second goes his way. At this pace, you wouldn't even be too excited to expect a third.
I want to be hyped up. But Wits denying any kind of flag. There's the third from Ja. See, that's the hype there. And Ja maybe a quad here. Rolling Thunder into play. Wits, he'll give it to Ja. 7-5 Naos. And that pretty convincingly with the operator.
Naos or Ja? It's a team effort.
Both. I mean, Wits helped too.
Yeah, he did.
Look at Dritch.
You can't
Look
have
at
to
Dritch. As soon as I saw him like that, he was like, bro, what happened to you?
You're dead
Oh
beat.
no, I'm dead too.
Yeah, and then the camera pans away from the duel here between Ja and Ionix to what's happening on the site. But like, I was expecting that kill feed to pop up with a Ja number 3.
Yeah, you wanted to like low-key it, and I was like, I'll hype it up. Only that one though, because we expect it.
You know
Anyway, it's gonna come, and now Naos is gonna be coming into their attacking side here. Game Lab Alpha, I do feel like that this is where they really need to prove themselves per se. It has been a bit of a struggle against other teams we've seen so far. And let's see what they can do. Do they play the same pace that they did on the attacking side? Do they hold back a little bit more? But here we go again in black and blue. Very committed position, but Owen sees the two lined up. And before he falls, he gets advantage here for Game Lab.
Well, Game Lab, as of the moment here, got that early advantage. The retake, it can definitely work on out. Nobody coming in from the flank. Because they lose Mojer there, they have to dedicate somebody to watching that flank, and instead, it makes it so that they have less presence within the site itself. Now, they got a smoke for that heaven, which is very important for the help on the post-plant hold here. fault line prepared towards that flank, towards the CT rather. Here comes the paranoia. They're all dropping, but look at the angles it's working out for Papichulo here. He knows where Fallex is, does not have the ammunition to follow up though. And Game Lab off of the retake, take a round.
We just watched the synchronized drop into perspective there of Papichulo. Finds those 2 targets, but the rest of Game Lab Alpha having the intel, having the know-how to play around the site, and allows them, of course, with that numbers advantage to get those takedowns. I love the fact that you had Fallex here far forward. He wasn't going to get victimized by the corner graffiti position. Game Lab Alpha, they needed that pistol round, and they got it there.
Well, I mean, Game Lab here so far, that's where you really see how formidable they are when you just throw them into an impossible situation and come out with absolute value like there. Owen gets that double. He's up to 15, by the way. A very quiet 15, I might say.
Yeah. More kills than rounds. Always good to see. Well, Game Lab Alpha, though, they have the Spectres now in hand. It's a different kind of, I'd say, commitment compared to what we see from Naos. A dash on away from Fallex, and just that extra bit of distance, forcing Ja to dispense that ammo a little too early. Spike's now planted, and maybe another one to challenge. His name is Witz, and he'll find that takedown. Fallex, though, takes advantage yet again. A 3K already. Doesn't expect the corner, though, and no one now will fight back on the other side of this site. Senior Carl versus 2. We've seen him clutch before, but this time it's denied by Owen. Reliable yet again. 7-7 now.
The damage done here by Naos, but ultimately still Game Lab comes out on top. And you know, I was talking about a story a while ago from the Insider video of Naos where they were like, you know, for the last series at least versus MVP, this is Senior Carl's debut. Let's still show that we're still the team to beat. And, well, obviously he said that in Filipino. And you can see that here, really, at Naos. They come out with something to prove for them to pick Haven in the first place with Senior Carl, but you can still tell that there's some growing pains, and to use an English word with Filipino tendencies, it's kind of like testing is what they're doing. Testing.
You do realize testing still means the same thing, right?
No,
in the normal way to say
people use it differently in
you just said it with the Filipino accent.
Testing.
Come on, testing. Asim. Wow, we're learning vocabulary today. And now Naos, they're gonna have the firepower that they need to try and go for more of a stronger approach towards the C side. A dash in immediately. We see it from Ja getting that platform position. So things pretty clear here for Naos. Game Lab will go for the retake instead.
Game Lab. Let's see how they convert here on the retake. Going to be difficult. They got the blades on Fallex though, so it's going to help them a bit more with this retake in terms of initiating that contact first and foremost. Fallex flying up above, but is simply swatted out of the air. Oh, but look, the aftershock gets Senior Carl off the drone.
Too easy though with the frags, and Papichulo and Ja are in position to get those takedowns. Game Lab Alpha. Now they go for the defuse. Rich is... Oh, okay, never mind. I thought he had the better angle, but Mojer realizes, what's the only spot in this spam that we're not shooting? Oh, over there. And we'll get the round there.
It was a good idea there, though, for him to be just a bit off of the spike. You can see him towards the furthest angle he could be, but... Well, I mean, that's what you're supposed to kind of plan it.
You know,
corner a bit more.
You know, in other games that we don't talk about,
yeah,
when you're flying high in the sky and you're dealing with hit scan, you kind of don't want to do that. Because you'll just get taken down.
What would you do? You drop?
You use a jetpack, but you don't have that there, so you know.
You get a pocket sage.
You get a pocket sage, exactly. No mercy for him, though. And well, now as esports, they're going to continue with this trend. The fault line's into play. Owen tries to play with it, but Mojer will just deny him of any kind of those rat shenanigans towards short yet again. Hal drones there as the spikes planted. Seems like for Naos, yet again, they're prepared on that A side, and they do find that once playing towards heaven, Dritch has the back on away. No flanks necessary. Naos is just keeping them contained.
I'm not sure if that was an observer bug or just delay or lag, but you saw the fault line there kind of connect a bit late on Owen Cutie from the team fault line. Rolling Thunder just to buy them even more space, even more time on this gun round. And I think it's well put because to gain this round will put them in such a great economic advantage here in this half. But Fallex, he gets the kill, runs out of ammo on the spam. That's why you don't have to mag dump in that situation there, Drop. And then now they have the timing. Senior Carl gets it, but they ran out of it. Naos have more than enough time off the Nano Swarm, and Game Lab simply do not.
Yeah, and you can see it again, that Game Lab Alpha, they had a good pushback from the Rolling Thunder, but they had so little room for error, right? And the fact that they took too long to kill, I believe that was Ja towards Graffiti, didn't allow Game Up Alpha the space that they needed. They couldn't clear out short as well as time was running out. And of course, the Nano Swarm, the icing on that cake for Naos Esports. So this is even better for Naos. You mentioned it. The money is looking good. The economy is very sound. And now they have a clear advantage over the heroics that Game Up Alpha will try to pull this time.
See if those heroics are going to come through once more. Different ask to do it on the defense here. They're not exactly sure where the fight is going to come. Now at least they're aware of this seaside presence. So there's a small gap. Folex just can't find it though.
Yeah, they're trying to be a bit cheeky there, but Game Up Alpha has been spotted by Naos anyway. Even forced to use the dash because it's not full coverage. And Naos, they understand that this game has been defined by these thrifty rounds, so they're happy to play it safe, wait for any over-eagerness from Game Up Alpha if ever.
You're over-eager.
About what?
Not life.
Like what? What am I over-eager about?
Oh,
I love Valorant. You want me to be hyped up like that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be hyped up like this bunny of Aeonix. Aeonix, that bunny's gonna get angry once he starts shooting, but Ja now exposed, and Ja found out by Aeonix. Mojer 2 told you it was gonna be hype, and Game Up Alpha, they're ready yet again. Dritch providing a bit more cover. Wits will fall down pretty easily. And Glab, they're very glad with these decisions so far. They're just finding Naos coming into their sightlines. Maybe another one here as Senior Carl's on the opposite end. The hammer! Was that the axe brought out? Aeonix though smites them down. Boogie's there to finish the job off. And the flawless comes in for Game Lab instead.
What a round here from Game Lab. The timing, they were ready for that push coming towards A. And Aeonix in the forward position could hear it coming. Dreech prepared with a fault line. It connects both perfect shot on the Ja, then the swing on the Mojer here. Once more, these ecos.
He got stabbed, right? I'm not sure if Dritch actually made the melee connect. I was even confused. Is that the axe? Is that the hammer? I can't tell, but either way, he ran at the guy with the knife out. Game Lab's pretty wild, not gonna lie.
The Wild West in Game Lab so far. They're looking to take what's theirs. Now also, they got a round to buy up here, but if you lose this, it's them going to be on the thrifty. So see how they convert. Oh, this is a big ping off of the information there. They almost get the kill, but now it's at the ready to punish off with a swing.
Yeah, Naos at the ready indeed, but Bogey plays towards that backside, all left now to Aeonix. He had that impact before, can he do so yet again? 2 targets low on the HP, a burst now to get rid of Job, but Senior Carl tags and bags him. 10-8, Naos refused to lose there.
Enemies bag, put it in the box. Sir, you got a tote bag? No, I don't. All I need is paper. Write it down. Naos, off of a round like that. They get the scan off a drop, and they knew that the reaction here automatically for a team like Game Lab would be spam the smoke or try to get the punish, right? They see that duelist running back. They kind of maybe assumed that the site would be a bit more empty than it really was. And now it's just prepared for the swing. No flash, no follow-up of utility here for Game Lab, and the dry peak just gets shut down.
Yeah, no 2 peso surcharge there. Instead, it's your lives gone. Naos Esports now a chance here to start running away with this game unless we get another incredible round from Game Lab Alpha. A looking to be a target. It does seem like it's Dritch the one playing towards heaven, I believe, but the fact of the matter is, this is the least resistance Naos can actually have to deal with so far. Only problem, Game Lab has ultimates ready for the retake if ever.
Ults out here, as you said, for Game Lab. But with Naos having ults of their own, we've seen them be able to successfully kind of stop these retakes off a Game Lab. We saw it on Fracture a while ago. Now, there is no Rolling Thunder, which was a crucial point of that, but the Hunter's Fury could be big. Trade out immediately here by Wits as they take down Job.
On Boogie getting now all the way towards Hell. Fault line though still gets a connection. Throws the dart instead to just garner that intel. Smokes away in the way. Game Lab still in position in these corners. But Senior Carl, one by one, trying to flush them out. Owen goes down, and Naos is on the rotation. They pulled so many of the defense already, and they can go for that C site here.
Rotate here for Naos, as you said, free. Mojer at the forefront to catch off any rotations. Folex, is he ready for this? He gets a tag through the wall as well. just sends Mojo back scrapping, which is the right idea in this case. They have that lockdown, but do you use it now?
Yeah, that's a possibility for Ionix, but now as they have the Hunter's Fury to answer back if ever. Trying to find a different angle, flush out that garage especially, Glab. Eventually all these players will converge towards the site. We've seen from Naos how effective their long hold has been. And let's see if they can do so yet again. You also notice Wits nearby towards the cubby. Boogie now looking to peek things out first and foremost. Nano Swarm, 2 by time. Turret's gonna be set up here and Boogie will swing it to take down. Ionix also on the board. Mojo though with the stall, with the deny. And with 5 HP, he's getting the kills that they need. Now he realizes Folex is on that site. The fake, the peek. Can't go for the defuse whatsoever. Mojo buying so much time with what little life he has. And because of it, it's a breath of fresh air and a round 1 by Naos yet again.
What a good read here in the play of the cards by Mojo. He knew that 1v1 that the tap is probably just that, a tap. Not an actual commit on the defuse, maybe not even a half. You know, there's no way Folex was going to stick to that. He didn't even peek it. He waited for the second tap of that spike. Heard that it was still on the full defuse state, and there's nothing GameLab could do in that case. You know, maybe if they were able to take that deep kind of grass control and place that lockdown to flush out the deep long, things could have been different, but just in hindsight, those things are so difficult to pull off.
And this is why you have Mojo now on that Sentinel role. He's incredible in these post-plant scenarios, incredible on the stall in the mind games, and just well played from map to map. He's trying to do so yet again, and well, sing his praises even more, why don't we? First takedown onto the round, denying Dritch from any kind of angle. Naos is just holding back. They know that these sheriffs are deadly, and they'll respect it enough to play defaults instead. You
know, I remember us, I don't know if it was during work or out of work. I think it was out of work, where we were talking UI, Raf, sorry, I did a whole bunch. Naos, what would be the thing, as Naos gets a kill, to make them, you know, the team that one could argue as the best Filipino team, even over maybe a team like, you know, Team Secret? What could help them get to that same height? And we were talking about they could just be one roster change away from doing that. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily true just yet, but these steps, I think they're in the right direction.
Yeah, nice speech there. And I do agree, honestly. We'll see if Naos can continue on with this kind of form, especially with Senior Carl. Boogie, though, finding the timing onto one, finding the shot onto another. But that's all the hoopla he'll get there. This is it. Naos is on series points.
Hoopla.
All a bunch of hoopla.
You see you're a avid enjoyer of the sponge.
Well, if you hang out with us right enough, like you telling that story, it kind of just rubs off the wrong way for you.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Guys,
that's right. What comes to mind immediately is like Ben 10.
No, look. He had that life as a shoutcaster for 30 seconds. That is not true. He left out many parts.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry. We'll have an expose one day.
Forgot his right arm workout.
Yes. His most favorite workout. But then again, guys, arms looking to flex here for Ja, especially, and the rest of Naos. Ionix now backing on away from that long angle. Close contest thanks to the alarm bot. But Naos knows if they can play this smart, find those small openings, that's their best chance to win this game.
But they burn both of the Nano Swarms from that, and that's like literally every single piece of Killjoy utility. They've got now the alarm bot as well. All they've got now is that lockdown, potentially later. You can hold on as well. Rolling Thunder comes right in the face. Oh, and Cutie able to still get the kill, hiding in plain sight. Boogie on the trade. And now slowly respond here off of Senior Carl, but GameLab are doing a good job of stifling this.
Oh, and Papi Chulo's there, but Dritch will find the trade. And now the Rolling Thunder. Dritch, why do you have your hammer out?
He was jump peeking it. He didn't think he would be there. And Papi Chulo has the right read. A classic Papi Chulo situation. In another clutch, the master himself. Can he deliver another masterpiece?
Here we go again, the mind games there from Papi Chulo. Now, so stumble at the start there, Black and Blue, with Owen smack dab in the middle, completely ignored by the entry. But Papi Chulo, he's been renowned for these moments. Ionix, though, no slouch either, being that newest addition for GameLab Alpha. He's now creeped on over towards the site itself, and the higher ground is the best ground for Papi Chulo. Clutch delivered as per usual, and from the ban to the pick, now it just makes it click.